Hello everyone, I'm Bob Varsha. Welcome to one of the special places in all of America. To the west lies the breathtaking beauty of the Monterey Peninsula, home to the golf mecca of Pebble Beach, while to the east lies some of the richest farmland in the world, the setting for human drama portrayed in the novels of one of America's greatest writers, John Steinbeck. Well, here at Laguna Seca, we have another kind of human drama, one of sport. You could not have scripted a tighter championship battle with 2 races to go in this debut season for the American Le Mans Series in the premier prototype class. You've heard from Elliott Forbes Robinson, who leads David Brabham by just 1 point for the driver's title. And Eric Bernard, the French Formula One veteran who will share a car with Brabham today, is just 1 point further back in third. Now, prototype is one of 3 class battles we'll be watching. In the GTS class for the fire-breathing, production-based cars, it has been a season for the French Team Oreca Vipers. They have entered 4 races, taken 4 poles and 4 victories. The 91 car is on pole in the class today. In the GT category, for the less powerful but in many ways more nimble race cars, we have another great battle. The number 23 Porsche in the hands of Kurt Wagner will start on pole in class. On the pole with a record lap of over 106 miles an hour, Eric Bernard and David Brabham in that 6-liter Panoz Ford. Their teammates Johnny O'Connell and Jan Magnussen will be alongside. Klaus Kraft not expected to get in the car, but he is ready. On row 2, J.J. Leto and Steve Soper in one of the beautiful new BMWs. Bill Auberland and Joe Winkelhock, their teammates, will be alongside. On the next row, Jean-Marc Gounon and Christophe Tissot in a Lola with Judd V10 power. Next to them, Eric Van de Poel and Mimo Schiatarella in another Judd-powered car, this one O'Reilly and Scott.
And this is going to give us our first actual shot at team strategy. Watch the Panoz on the front row, and you're going to see the BMW in row 2 is going to try desperately to get up alongside. Watch for 3 wide going into 1. Bob, they're going to try it.
Downhill, double apex left-hander. It's off camber, very slippery, and the 2x2 they come through. Even 3 wide they come through, and it appears they've made it.
And in 3rd place, Marc Gounon in the number 75 Nams Lola, the black car running in 3rd place. That is the highest he has run all year long. This Frenchman is an ex-Formula One driver. He is very fast, but there's something. One of the Ferraris has spun already on cold tires early in the race. Should not be a problem for him. They can rejoin. As I was going to say, Gounon has had a couple of incidents throughout practice. I'm worried about him. Maybe. Now, here's just maybe what happened to the Ferrari. You can see, yes, a little bit of contact between 2 of the Ferraris right there. Okay, now we're back on board 43. This is Bill Auberland's viewpoint, and he, too, has made a brilliant start. The car right ahead is the Dams Lola, and you're going to watch the differences in horsepower from the front straight. You're on board a V12. The car up ahead is one of the V10 Judd engines. These things make enormous horsepower. They're just so impressive, and the sound, well, you got to buy it.
On board now with the race leader, Johnny O'Connell, originally from California, now makes his home in Flowery Branch, Georgia, not far from the Panoz Motorsport shops. Now, meanwhile, we've had our first key moment of attrition in this race. With more on that, here's Martin Haven.
Guys, the 75 car has disappeared from this race with just a couple of laps run. Jean-Marc Gounon, its French driver, selected 4th gear, and there was nothing there to be selected.
And here's our leader in the GTS category. They started from pole position, the number 91 of Olivier Beretta and Carl Wendlinger, shown 19th overall. Now you see the beautiful new Goodwrench Corvettes. First Chevrolet factory Corvette effort in decades in the hands of vastly experienced Canadian Ron Fellows.
And this actually is a brand new car. We have seen it make a couple of appearances earlier on, but they have finally tried to match some of the Viper horsepower. One of the things with the Vipers, they have this massive 8-liter V10 engine that it's simply a ton of torque, a lot of horsepower. The Corvettes have gone from their 6-liter motor all the way up to 7-liter. So this is to try and offset it. Like, bigger is better in this case.
Now let's pick up our GT category. The leader in that class once again was the pole-sitting car. There's the speed differential of the big prototypes as the leaders go by Dirk Mueller from Cologne, Germany, who came here to Laguna Seca for his first visit with a very heavy head cold. He's been struggling with it all weekend as we look at the GT class structure. Moments ago, we had a lead change that had a big impact not only on the race, but on the championship. You ride on board with Johnny O'Connell, who had the lead previously, but he no longer holds it. Let's take another look at what happened. Bill Adam?
One of the problems at traffic, you never know which way they're going to go. Johnny is getting pointed one side, tries to make a desperation move, gets bad device. His teammate gets advantage, goes down the inside, takes over the lead.
That means that Eric Bernard will go around to lead a lap, pick up a bonus point for doing it, and tie him with teammate David Brabham. Now, we also had some action in the pits. This is Eric Van de Poel in that Team Raffinelli Judd-powered Lola chassis that came in. It appears to be an exhaust problem.
We're on board that BMW right now. The 43 car, Bill Oberlin here, is in this huge battle with the Panoz that now has really pulled out a good 2 or 3 second lead. So Oberlin just being held up a bit by Magnesia, the champion Porsche.
And that's why he's waving.
Waving his arm, saying, would you mind moving the car over just a tiny bit?
Oh, trouble on the racetrack. One of the GT
Oh,
BMWs, and Hans Stuck will climb out. What a disappointment.
Whoops, what are you doing there, Hans?
I'd be looking for something to do a little work on the car.
I think that's exactly what he's doing. You can see him pulling the hood pins out. And he'll open up and try and fix something. I wonder if maybe something simple like a throttle cable came off.
Well, guys, they're doing a driver change on the 43 car, and it looks that they're doing a tyre change. At the beginning of the race, the Michelin engineers suggested that the BMWs would double stint their tyres. This car started on hard tyres. JJ Leto's car, which has already started on soft tyres, but they did a 4-tyre change for Leto. He stayed in the car. Oberlin hands over the race-leading BMW to Winkelhock. And are they going to take tyres? No, they're going to double stint. There maybe is the tactical advantage of starting on harder compound rubber.
Now, there were 2 other pit stops while we were in break. The number 2 Panoz pitted. Jan Magnussen took over, and he's coming around left of your screen as the BMW comes off the pit lane.
BMW will still be on cold tires, remember now. This should be a lead change we're watching right here. David Brabham just stuck the Panoz a bit out of formation there, just enough to fill the mirrors the BMW and let him know that he's back there. And maybe Brabham's going to play a bit of a mind game at this point.
Oh, here's a problem. This is the 92. This is the second place car in GTS in the hands of David Donahue.
Now that is the Bill Adam kiss of death. We're talking about how these cars have been just indestructible, and he looks like he's broken something on the right rear suspension. That's not a flat tire.
Well, guys, on the radio on the way back in between opposite locking this grabbing car around the track, David Donahue has let the team know he was hit in the right rear corner by the 0 car. That's the Team Raffinelli, Riley and Scott Judd. He's got 2 steering wheels at the front and a steering wheel at the back as well, which has a mind of its own. This is the shopping trolley from hell.
Magnussen in the Panoz goes by Winkelhock to take over the lead.
Again, I don't think this is a bad idea for Winkelhock to do this at this stage. What he wants to do is maybe similar to what Oberlin did. Drive perfectly, to sit back, conserve the car, and we saw the kind of mileage that Oberlin got. He got tremendous fuel economy in his first year.
Here's another look at the pass. Check that, it's David Brabham in the number 1 car who goes past Winkelhock.
Clean pass under braking. Winkelhock saw it coming up. Really gave him all the road he wanted. He didn't try and challenge him at all, so I think Winkelhock is going to do the smart thing. Just do the proper corner idea right now. Don't stress the car.
Oh, and we got
There's a wheel
coming down the hill.
As a car leaves pit lane, somebody didn't get the wheel put on properly. So I think the wheel's winning the race, though. He's going to get hit by his own wheel. He did too. Nicely done. Very good. He kept the wheel from going on the track. That is incredibly heads-up driving by that driver.
We have had another lead change, and we have a car off. That's the number 38 Porsche in the hands of Ralph Kellners of Germany. See the bodywork ripped away on the left side. Here's another look. There's the car at the middle of your screen. BMW alongside.
Oh, and that's it. Well, we talked about that earlier. One of the dangers of trying to pass vehicles on this track, and that's all it took.
Our Panoz teammates lead the race. Jan Magnussen got around his teammate David Brabham earlier. But there is controversy in the air now. Officials are warning that there will be black flags coming up, passing underneath local yellow flags. He has been absolutely flying.
He has been flying. In fact, right there, you can see he's even getting into this corner so deep, he was locking the rear brakes just a tiny bit, getting the car sideways. Ever since he took over, he actually closed up behind the number 1 car, and for a number of laps, was following so close that I was quite surprised the team manager would even allow that to happen.
As Magnussen heads for the pit lane, headed right there at the entrance. And that puts his teammate, David Brabham, in the number 1 Panoz Ford, back into the race lead. And Magnussen has dropped to 3rd place. And there is David Brabham, 2nd in the points championship, 1st on the racetrack, and just behind him, The Finn, the flying Finn, J.J. Leto in that beautiful white BMW. That's the way the gap has fluctuated in the last 3 laps. Now, Leto has been very coy since the beginning of this race. He started third, but dropped back as far as fifth, nearly 20 seconds behind the leaders. He has charged back up, and now he will make his stop.
Driver changes. J.J. Leto, who's done the first 2 stints, jumps out, and British colleague Steve Soper gets in. Now, they did start on a different set of tyres to the one that are on now. They changed from JJ's first choice to the setup that Bill Auberlen had at the start of the race in the 43 car when they made their first stop. That set seems to be working much better.
So you can't just go on.
And cold tires. That's the problem. He's coming out of the pits. He has cold tires, did not get good traction coming out of that exit. That could have been just a big incident. He got away with it, though. No damage on the nose of the car.
Well, it seems like it takes forever to get 90 liters of gasoline into these cars. The crew is ready to put tires on. Let's remember they double standard on that first set of Michelin tires. You're right, Brabham is out. Eric Bernard is back in now. The air jacks come up, the tires go on. The 42 car coming around trying to hang on to the lead before the Panoz can get out of the pits. We'll see if he can do it. Everything is going along perfectly here. A wonderful stop, and it appears that they haven't wasted a fraction of a second here.
But Steve Soper came thundering down the hill, squirming under acceleration as he tried desperately to get back out in front. It appears that he has done that as Eric Bernard heads into the pit lane and back into the fight.
Guys, I'm sorry, there's no problem with Alex Caffey or the Olive Garden Ferrari. It's Massimiliano Angelelli, the driver who's just got out of the car, and he's been taken away to the infield medical center by the paramedics. Ambulance here on pit row. He is just so exhausted, he cannot even hold his head up.
GT class standings, David Murray runs in the race lead.
David Murray, a really talented driver. He is having an excellent run today. And David Murray's car, actually, just an interesting little comparison with the car that we've seen do so well this year, the Dirk Mueller Kurt Wagner car. It's slightly different. They can run under different sets of rules here, under the ACO rules, the European rules, or the actual rules running over here. So David Murray's cars, a little bit wider tires, and so on and so on. So he is doing a good job with that car. There it is right there, following the Corvette.
Pick up 8th place. That is the Dyson Racing Riley and Scott chassis with Ford power in the hands of James Weaver. And as you can see, he is battling with Wayne Taylor for that spot.
This will be fun for both these drivers. Wayne Taylor, he has just had such a frustrating year. When they strangled the Ferraris by reducing the opening, the intake size for air going into these motors, it basically took away a huge chunk of horsepower and equalized everything. Look at this. Here's the drag race. Boy, oh boy.
Weaver with a quick look over at his rival.
I like that, James.
Now what will happen under braking in 2?
Good job.
We are back live at Laguna Seca, the Visa Sports Car Championships on the American Le Mans Series Trail here on CNBC, and we have had a dramatic twist. There you are looking at the number 42 car in the hands of Steve Soper, but as you see, he is now second to Eric Bernard in the Panoz.
I have been talking about how hard Soper was continuing to push, and sometimes this rears up and bites you. You're going to take a look. When Soper comes down out of the hairpin, the area where he's been pushing hard all day, look how wide he gets. The car snaps on him, he overcorrects for a moment, and suddenly disaster. He has got zero traction, spinning around. Lock up the brakes, Steve. Look at this, all the wheels are dead stop. He wants to make sure he stays on the pavement as long as possible to scrum off speed, and narrowly avoids getting T-boned by one of the Ferraris. Now he's got to get this thing fired up because he knows the Panoz is coming down the hill. Here he is. He's got to get the car turned on, do a quick spin, but watch in the background. You're going to see this black shape coming down, and there we go. There's the lead right there.
And this taking place with about 11 minutes to go in the race.
Leto is going to be going crazy because twice now, 2 straight American Le Mans races, we have seen the lead being thrown away by Leto's co-drivers.
We are back live at Laguna Seca Raceway, and I can't believe what is happening. That is Eric Bernard, who swept into the lead when Steve Soper took what was then the race-leading BMW off track.
They have signaled Bernard to cut the motor off. The right front suspension has suffered damage. just when it looked like we were going to have a repeat of Petit Le Mans, the problems happen in the Panoz pits. They're normally totally reliable car and driver.
Unbelievable. In the space of mere minutes, calamity strikes the race leader twice. Let's take another look at what happened. Here comes the BMW with Soper to take over the lead. Bernard obviously having problems at this point.
Now, as he's coming up to the top of the hill, keep an eye. Look, suddenly he's got no steering. The car is just going straight. Look at that right front wheel. Very, very little steering input. So his steering probably is only working on the left front of the car, less than 50%.
Think about Steve Soper for a moment. Just when he thought he had thrown the race away for himself, his teammate JJ Leto, and his team, he is suddenly back in the lead by 18 seconds over the remaining Panoz in the race.
Well, he did indeed throw it away. I mean, I think the team is still going to be very upset with him, but it's very hard to be mad with somebody 100% when they come home with the checker flag.
From Surrey, England, Steve Soper teaming with JJ Leto will come home. There's the GTS leader, that red Viper. Victory in the overall to Soper and Leto. And not a moment too soon, as the Panoz team can only look at their formerly race-leading car and think about what might have been. Coming up from behind, you see that red number 91 Viper, unofficially Olivier Beretta, the leader in the Drivers' Championship in the GTS category, and his teammate Carl Wendlinger will take the victory. And there is the GT class leader, the 02 car, coming off the corner, David Murray and Johnny Mollem, in what can only be described as a big, big upset. They come home with the class victory.
Well, as of late, the BMW team has made some huge deposits into the luck bank that is motor racing. And Steve Soper, this afternoon, you got a big withdrawal. Wow, what a swing.
Well, it goes both ways. We gave it to them at Road Atlanta, and I think we deserved it here. I mean, it wasn't a great race. We picked the wrong tires to begin with. JJ did a great job coming back and got the car back up there. The problem was I had to take over with JJ's tires, and I kept seeing the number one Panoz catch me, catch me, catch me, and I was pushing like crazy, but I didn't have any grip, and in the end it just caught me out really where I didn't want it to catch me out. But 2 laps later, then the Panoz nearly went off down here, and he obviously panicked because then there was a yellow, and he didn't pay any attention to the yellow at all. And you know, there's rules and there's regs, and I'll take that yellow both hands.
A well-earned victory on a most amazing day here at Laguna Seca Raceway. Now, here is the way we have crunched the numbers. Unofficially, the cars must go through tech inspection and the timing sheets checked and so forth. It would appear that Elliott Forbes Robinson is right where he was at the beginning of the day, 1 point ahead of what is now a tie for second place in the championship between the Panoz teammates David Brabham and Eric Bernard. Absolutely amazing.